The Viking Age, a time of myth, exploration, and survival. It was an era when legends were born, and the boundaries of the known world were pushed ever outward by daring seafarers and resilient settlers. We picture fierce warriors, but their toughest battles were against the land itself. The true test was not just in combat, but in enduring the relentless forces of nature that shaped every aspect of their lives. Scandinavia's harsh winters and fleeting summers demanded resilience and ingenuity. The land was both a provider and a punishing adversary, forcing its people to adapt or perish. Every summer, Vikings raced to plant, harvest, and gather resources before the long darkness. The brief warmth was a frantic season of preparation, as every moment counted towards survival. The community worked together, knowing winter would soon descend like a conquering force. Neighbors became lifelines, and cooperation was the difference between life and death. When winter arrived, the sun vanished, temperatures plummeted, and life retreated indoors. For months, families huddled together, sharing warmth, stories, and hope for the return of light. Survival meant mastering shelter, fire, and cooperation. Every skill, from building sturdy homes to kindling a spark in the cold, was vital. The land shaped their sagas, gods, and society. Myths grew from the mountains, forests, and storms, reflecting the awe and fear inspired by their surroundings. Resourcefulness and unity were essential. Nothing could be wasted. Every scrap was repurposed, every meal shared, and every lesson passed down through generations. Legends of ice giants reflected the real, monstrous forces of nature they faced. These stories were warnings and wisdom, teaching respect for the wild. To understand the Vikings, we must grasp the immense power of their world. Their environment was both a crucible and a canvas for their culture. Their story is not just one of conquest, but of endurance. It is a tale of people who learned to thrive where others might falter. The cold forged them into a people defined by adaptation. Their strength was not just in arms, but in spirit and ingenuity. Every day was a test of will and wisdom. Each challenge faced was a lesson learned, and each hardship endured became part of their legacy. Their greatest achievement? Surviving the North itself. Against all odds, they carved out a life in one of the world's most unforgiving places. This is the story of how the Vikings were shaped by the land they called home. A story of endurance, unity, and the unbreakable bond between people and place. Before building their homes, Vikings had to carefully read the wild land for survival. Every decision was a matter of life and death, demanding a deep understanding of the environment. They sought out sites sheltered from harsh winds, close to fresh water for drinking and farming, and with plenty of sun exposure to keep warm through long, cold seasons. Stable, well-drained soil was essential. Marshes meant disaster, threatening crops, homes, and health. The Vikings learned to test the ground before settling. Proximity to forests for wood, meadows for grazing animals, and high ground for defensible views all played a crucial role in their choices. This knowledge was passed down through generations, learned by watching the wind, the flow of water, and the signs in the trees. From a young age, children grew up reading the land as a second language, learning to notice every detail in their surroundings. Choosing the right spot was the first secret to survival, shaping the fate of every family and community. In the end, the landscape itself was their greatest teacher, guiding the Vikings to thrive in a wild and challenging world. The Longhouse was the Viking home and heart of the community. Built with timber frames and insulated with wattle and daub, these structures kept out the cold. Curved, turf-covered roofs provided strength and warmth. Inside, families and livestock shared space. Animal heat helped everyone survive. Even on journeys, Vikings built quick shelters from branches and hides. Every structure used local materials and clever design to preserve heat. Shelter was always about survival, not just comfort. At the center of every Viking longhouse was the fire, radiating light, warmth, and the very essence of life itself. It was more than just a source of heat, it was a symbol of survival and community during the harshest months. Vikings skillfully made fire with steel and flint, striking sparks onto special tinder like amadou fungus, which caught flame even in damp, cold conditions. The fire was never allowed to die out. Embers were carefully banked with ash each night, ensuring a quick revival at dawn and preserving precious warmth. The hearth was the kitchen, the gathering place, and truly the heart of the home, where families and friends would come together after long, cold days. Over the flames, food was cooked, preserved, and smoked, providing nourishment and sustenance through the long winter. Fire brought families together, fueling stories, laughter, and a sense of belonging that helped them endure the darkness. In the endless winter night, fire was hope itself, a beacon against the cold and the unknown. Without fire, survival in the unforgiving Nordic winter was simply impossible. Vikings adapted their building skills wherever they went. In Iceland and Greenland, they used turf and stone when timber was scarce. In forested lands, they built with logs, always using the best local materials. Timber was treated and maintained with care. Homes were constantly repaired. Their story teaches resilience, adaptation, and the power of community. The Vikings survived by working with their environment, not against it. Their legacy, lessons of endurance carved in wood and stone.